You want fun? Wario show you fun.
The Wario Apparition, possibly the face of personalized Mario 64. When you think of every copy of Super Mario 64 being personalized, you likely think of the Wario Apparition. And why wouldn't you? Out of all the different anomalies that are said to happen, the Wario Apparition is one of the weirdest. So, it's for that reason that it would become much more well-known among the different anomalies, to the point where it has become a meme. But what does the MIPS whole wiki have to say about this Wario Apparition? Well, today we're going to be looking at the MIPS whole wiki article on the Wario Apparition. Wario Apparition. This page is considered sedimental, meaning that it is regarded as an anchor of knowledge pertaining to Super Mario 64. This may include anomalies commonly depicted as canon, or ideas that form the basis of the Super Mario 64 rabbit hole. The Wario Apparition is an uncommon anomalous entity in Super Mario 64, and perhaps one of the most popular of Super Mario 64 related legends. The entity takes its likeness from Wario, another established character from the Mario series who was growing in popularity by Super Mario 64's release. Despite neglect from Nintendo, it is referenced in their Focus on Fun panel from E3 of 1996. With its appearance at E3 1996 and the resurgence in Super Mario 64 phenomena in 2020, the Wario Apparition grew to meme status within the community and became one of the most known anomalies in Super Mario 64. Behavior. The appearance of the Wario Apparition, much like other unusual instances, is not guaranteed in Super Mario 64 playthrough. Its appearance is instead determined by the personalization AI, but what causes it to summon the apparition is unknown. However, the appearance of the white-eyed chomp is a usual disclaimer that the Wario Apparition, as well as a few other anomalies, are set to appear in the player's walkthrough. The Wario Apparition is usually set to appear in the room beyond the 30-star door in the basement, which leads to the 9th level of the game, Dire Docks. After catching sight of the player, the floating head starts chasing the player down the now endless hall. The disembodied head will start chomping viciously and start laughing maniacally while chasing the happy-go-lucky plumber. However, the Wario Apparition's behavior can also vary between player to player. Supposedly, the Wario Apparition can take gruesome and mangled forms as it chases the player. It's claimed that after experiencing the Wario Apparition, the player will suffer from stroke-like symptoms and memory loss. The cause of these symptoms are unknown, but many attribute it to the Wario Apparition's shocking and eerie nature. Associated music. An unused track belonging to the Wario Apparition has supposedly been dug up by YouTuber Planet Bobstar, and can be viewed here. The music appears to be coupled with unused voice clips of Wario laughing, which would later go on to be reused in Mario Kart 64. The description of these videos discusses how he and a group of dedicated data miners were able to extract the music, while also giving warning not to interact with players who have experienced the Wario Apparition, as they will enter a state of catatonia. In a later video, Planet Bobstar claims that the videos were fake. However, in that video, the way he words it is, most notably, "I'd like to thank Nintendo for allowing me to speak." It could be him being paid off or threatened by Nintendo to keep quiet about the truth. Appearances: Greenio's Odd Findings. The Wario apparition appears twice in Greenio's Odd Findings, in both Please Walk Quietly in the Hallway.mp4 and Coming Christmas 1995.mp4. The Wario apparition appears in the Dire Dire Doc's hallway. His mere existence causes the footage to fade out and the audio to grow louder before the footage abruptly cuts to something else. Theorizing: Consciousness Manifestation Theory. The most popular theory about the apparition's manifestation is taken from 4chan, and reads that the Wario apparition is formed from the player's subconscious wishes and desires to see Wario in Super Mario 64. It claims that not all players can even explain the Wario apparition's appearance, and can suffer from symptoms akin to that of a stroke. The theory also claims that the Wario apparition may have powers beyond the game itself. While this theory is the most popular, it goes against many of the limitations recorded from the personalization. This includes its supposed ability to read the player's thoughts and desires, and its ability to inflict strokes upon the player. Although the strokes inflicted on players may in fact be real and be caused by the shock of experiencing the Wario apparition. Unused Boss Theory. The Wario apparition could very well be the unfinished remains of a Wario boss, planned for the basement of the castle. It would mark Wario's second appearance in the mainline Mario games, and his second appearance as a boss fight in the series. Some screenshots of the Wario apparition feature the HUD screen within the beta builds of the game, potentially meaning that the Wario apparition was included early on and supporting that he could be an unfinished boss fight. Personalized Boss Theory. Another theory, acting as an extension of the unused boss theory, claims that the Wario apparition as a boss fight was not intended to be in the game. Instead, it is the personalization AI trying to create a new boss out of unused elements. This theory would imply that Wario wasn't intended to be a boss, but was still intended to appear in Super Mario 64 in some way. This theory, coupled with a benevolent AI theory, paints that the personalization algorithms are just trying to create a new and engaging experience for Super Mario 64, without the self-awareness of what it's creating is disturbing and unusual. Reportings. Everything in this section should be taken with a grain of salt. These are all unverified claims. Boss Encounter. Fandom user going by the alias Toe claims to have fought the Wario apparition as a boss. After being chased down by the Wario apparition, they were able to get through the door and escape to the main area of the castle, with the Toad's absence. The battle begins against the Wario apparition, where he is able to break through the castle walls and fire projectiles at Mario. To attack the apparition, the player has to stun Wario's floating head with a dive and then ground pound on its head. They had to do this 5 times before the Wario apparition was finally defeated, where they seem to congratulate the player. Upon being defeated, it leaves a star for Mario and the portal opens up to allow Mario into Bowser in the Fire Sea. If this claim is true, it can be assumed that the Wario apparition could have originally been removed due to its high difficulty. Then the AI which governs Super Mario 64's personalization could take the remnants of the boss and reform it, for those looking for a challenge. Wario Land 64. The Wario Land 64 theory claims that the Wario apparition is actually a fragment of programming from the unfinished game Wario Land 64, taking the form of one of Wario's power-up states, specifically that of the Ghost Spider, which allows him to turn into a floating giant head. After being charged with the task of getting rid of all the unwanted content, the devs fused the original build's content and Wario Land 64's, accidentally originating the apparition.